Hello all developers. Welcome to the Full Stack Qoder global launch. I'm Dingyu, founder of Qoder. Qoder is Alibaba's next-generation agentic coding platform for real software. Today, we're excited to bring a full capability upgrade to Qoder. Human-AI collaboration has now entered the era of agentic coding. The application of large language models is gradually shifting from knowledge retrieval to task delegation. Let's look at two industry survey reports. Over time, large language models are being used more autonomously. People are more inclined to delegate complete tasks to agents. We've also seen how people use Ccapabilities. In real-work scenarios, task execution usage dominates. Doing far exceeds asking. Now, let's look at the evolution of AI coding. From simple tasks in the past to complex task execution today. From symbol-only programming in the past to full natural language handling today. We see natural language becoming a new programming language. Code writing is gradually taken over by AI. Requirement insight, intent description, logic orchestration, and result validation have become developers' most frequent tasks. Over 95% of developers build real software daily. Real software accumulates over long periods, has high complexity, and generates high value. It requires stronger context and model handling capabilities. Today, code serves as a connector between the digital and physical worlds, acting as AI's hands and executors. More digitalization of scenarios and demands will multiply software needs. Facing these demands and trends, today we present a panoramic view of Qoder's products. Qoder's core positioning is an agentic coding platform for real software. There are two keywords. First, for real software. Second, an agentic coding platform. We divide Qoder into three layers. The bottom layer is infrastructure, including large language models and AI infrastructure. It includes world's leading models and self-developed specialized models. At the core technology level, we include an automated model scheduling selector, covering model evaluation and testing, understanding user intent, and assessing task complexity. Next, the infrastructure performs intelligent model scheduling, providing a multi-agent architecture, enhanced context, and toolset and engineering-aware capabilities. Above that is the interaction innovation layer. We provide three product forms. For versus code developers, we offer Qoder IDE. For JetBrains IDE developers, we offer a JetBrains Plugin. For terminal and agent integrated scenarios, we offer Qoder CLI. Users can access the same Qoder capabilities across different product forms. The underlying infrastructure is fully reusable. Now, let's look at Qoder's first core positioning. Built for real software development. Real software development faces many challenges. First, real software projects are large in scale and highly complex. From development from 1 to 100. It involves long-term iteration and maintenance of existing code bases, while complying with multiple organizational norms and framework constraints. Second, abundant tacit knowledge and misalignment. Knowledge misalignment between people leads to high collaboration costs. Knowledge misalignment between humans and AI leads to suboptimal AI-generated results. Third, focus on implementation. Developers spend much energy thinking about how to implement code, rather than clarifying requirements or validating results. This repetitive coding occupies most of developers' time, and insufficient focus on intent clarification, requirement alignment, and result validation often leads to rework and delays. To address these three challenges, we propose three strategies. First, enhanced context engineering. Enhance understanding of the codebase. Stronger retrieval capabilities. Allow AI to better grasp complex projects. Through memory and personalized context, AI better understands user behavior preferences during coding. Second, make tacit knowledge explicit. Generate knowledge documents from code and commit history. Structuring complex codebases. Enhance software engineering visibility. Reduce human cognitive load, and align human-AI knowledge. Third, spec-driven development. Write specifications first. Clarify requirements. Then delegate tasks to agents. And finally, validate results. Fewer process interactions. Longer execution periods. Delivering higher quality, predictable outcomes. Through these three strategies and capabilities, we can better serve real software development and generate more value. Coder's second positioning, agentic coding platform. Today, we see three industry trends, from assisted coding, collaborative coding, to agentic coding. The autonomy slider of AI coding is shifting to the right. In 2023, AI-assisted coding emerged. Its product forms were code completion and NES, with roughly 30% efficiency gains in development. In 2024, collaborative coding appeared. AI coding tools could edit multiple files and draft requirements within a project, achieving near 100% efficiency improvement. In 2025, AI autonomous coding emerged. It can autonomously develop large tasks. Developers can delegate tasks, achieving more than double the efficiency. Coder is positioned to serve the broadest developer base, covering all three coding scenarios. We are also exploring more AI autonomous coding capabilities, further unlocking productivity. Let's look at the agent mode. Dialogue-based agents collaborate in real time. Stronger context engineering and tools. Agents can generate context-aware code at scale, significantly improving development efficiency and accuracy. Using a to-do list opens the agent execution black box, structuring tasks to ensure execution accuracy. Coder's built-in code retrieval engine can search 100,000 project files at once, ensuring a deep understanding of the code base. From pair programming to task delegation, as AI autonomy increases, tasks grow longer, allowing a transition to asynchronous delegation. Real-time pairing is a request-response mode between developer and AI, so work is synchronous and blocking, limiting AI's working hours to the human schedule. As AI capabilities grow and autonomy strengthens, we can move to asynchronous delegation. Developers use spec to express intentions, then delegate tasks one by one to agents for parallel execution, dramatically boosting productivity. Now, let's see the delegation modes Coder supports. The first is local asynchronous delegation. Just describe the requirement, and the agent autonomously plans, executes, and delivers, enabling asynchronous delegation for local development tasks. Developers can focus on core logic and mainline innovation. The second mode is local parallel multitasking. Each task is assigned an independent workspace via Git worktree. Local multitasking collaboration allows seamless task flow. For developers, it can progress in multi-threaded fashion, without worrying about environmental conflicts. The third mode is delegation to a cloud sandbox. Tasks are scheduled to the cloud sandbox and executed in parallel, breaking the boundaries of time and space. The cloud sandbox has unlimited compute, time, and concurrency, so whether developers log off, shut down their computers, or leave the office, the cloud can run tasks for extended periods. This can achieve a 10 times efficiency improvement. To support this, we launched Quest Mode, spec-driven AI autonomous coding. For developers, spec is the most familiar way to express intent. Design documents serve as the main communication medium between humans and AI. Developers' main tasks become clarifying task intent, collaboratively generating design documents, and finally verifying execution results. With Quest, development tasks can be delegated asynchronously, truly achieving 10 times development efficiency. Next, let's look at the Qoder JetBrains plugin. Through deep integration with JetBrains IDEs, it provides deep awareness of backend projects, allowing AI to better understand framework norms, database structures, and runtime environments. The JetBrains plugin has 4 core advantages. First, deep understanding of framework semantics. It captures dependencies, routing configurations, and middleware structures of Spring, Fastapi, Gin, providing code suggestions compliant with framework standards. Second, deep database awareness. It automatically analyzes the complete schema, provides skull optimization recommendations, and detects injection risks, making database operations more accurate and secure. Third, instant framework understanding. Based on a cloud framework knowledge engine, it automatically identifies project types, answering questions on new features of tools like Bun in milliseconds. Fourth, deep IDE integration. With Spring Bean dependency recognition, debugger call stack analysis, inspection-based error fixing, and deep awareness of AST and runtime information, Qoder achieves a true understanding of the backend tech stack. Next, let's look at Qoder CLI. Users can perform deep development in the IDE and use CLI for quick operations and workflow automation. Combining both significantly improves work efficiency. Qoder CLI has 3 core advantages. First, flexible, lightweight, and ready to use. Quickly fix bugs on servers. Perform code reviews without opening the IDE. And start up in less than 70 milliseconds. Full Qoder capabilities are available on any terminal. Second, workflow automation and customization. Integrated with CI or CD pipelines. Automated code review, test generation, and issue fixes, covering the full chain from local to production environments. Agents can be scheduled and workflows orchestrated, enabling customizable development processes, meeting enterprise needs. Third, deep integration into any toolchain. Agents can be called from scripts, chained via pipelines plus ACP protocol, and orchestrated into any workflow. It supports IDEs like Emacs and NeoVim, making Qoder capabilities available anywhere. Qoder CLI brings Qoder's intelligence to every terminal. Our philosophy is multi-end equality. Every developer keeps their preferred development environment. Qoder enables agentic coding in any environment. We provide 3 core capabilities. First, multi-agent architecture. Qoder respects each developer's usage habits. Second, unified agent foundation. Multiple ends share a single intelligent engine, with adaptive model scheduling and cloud sandbox. Agent capabilities are reusable across all ends. Cloud Sandbox can be activated on demand, ensuring consistent capabilities across the foundation. Third, seamless ecosystem integration. Qoder integrates into GitHub PRs, CI or CD pipelines, and self-built development platforms, extending agentic coding capabilities to more scenarios, allowing it to become a universally available infrastructure. We are continuously enhancing Qoder's technological competitiveness, building capabilities in 3 areas. First, performance-leading enhanced context engineering through cloud-based code retrieval, integrating repo wiki documentation knowledge and self-optimizing memory-aware technology. Qoder can accurately understand 100,000 code files, with coding performance leading by 13% in complex evaluations. Second, self-optimizing memory intelligence through dynamic learning mechanisms. It automatically extracts user habits, project information, and historical experience from past dialogues, and optimizes memory retrieval strategies autonomously through metrics like memory quality and effectiveness evaluation, improving agent dialogue quality by 48%. Third, combining global top-tier models with proprietary models. We use world's leading models along with specially trained proprietary models, covering code completion or NES, vector retrieval, repo wiki, and more. Verified through Qoder Bench's large-scale evaluation system, delivering outstanding results. Our repo wiki model reduces credits consumption by 93%. Next, let's introduce Qoder Bench. It is an end-to-end automated evaluation system, reproducing developers' real usage experience across effectiveness, speed, and cost. At the model layer, it supports global top-tier and proprietary models. At the project layer, it supports project awareness, long or short-term memory, prompts, tools, and agent frameworks. At the scenario layer, it covers multiple programming languages, task types, and technical difficulties. It provides a Qoder automated evaluation framework, allowing rapid testing through real-time evaluation, online or B testing, and highly automated, and parallelized regression. It has built a massive evaluation dataset, covering multiple scenarios, languages, and modalities. Qoder Bench ensures fast product iteration and sustained leadership. Through Qoder Bench combined with real software evaluation, Qoder comprehensively surpasses leading global products in handling complex projects, generation quality, and credits durability. It supports ultra-large projects with up to 100,000 files, leading by 13% in overall scores in complex task evaluation sets. With the same payment and the same SOTA model, it can complete 205% of coding tasks. Today, we are excited to officially open source the Agentic Coding Product Durability Evaluation dataset. It has two features. First, broad language coverage, including the most commonly used programming languages for agentic coding users: Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, Java, Golang, etc. Second, diverse tech stacks, covering mainstream and newer frameworks for each language, reproducing developers' high-frequency development environments and usage scenarios. This multi-language, varied difficulty, real-world aligned dataset can be fully used to compare the durability and performance of different AI coding products. Currently, over 20 cases are open-sourced, and by March 2026, over 50 evaluation cases are planned to be released. Developers are welcome to download and use them. In the future, Qoder will achieve multi-scenario coverage, expanding more access points for developers. This includes today's product forms, IDE, plugins, CLI, and integration with various other IDEs via ACP. We also support GitHub and GitLab, as well as collaboration tools like Slack, Notion, DingTalk, and more. Based on a unified cloud environment and unified agent capabilities, developers can manage development tasks across multiple scenarios and touchpoints, modify technical implementations, and solve real-world problems. Developers can access and manage development workflows with any device or tool, collaborate on tasks, track progress, and schedule work around the same repo, truly enabling AI coding everywhere. Let's look at two examples. First, GitHub plus Qoder Agent for CoderView. Qoder CLI, deeply integrated with GitHub, can provide pull request context feedback within minutes, enabling high-quality code reviews, reducing time and effort spent on manual code review. Our evaluations show a 2x improvement in code review quality and a 10x increase in code review efficiency. Second example, GitHub plus Qoder Agent for bug fixes. For code review results in GitHub using Qoder CLI, developers can directly add Qoderi in comments to request the agent to perform the corresponding fixes. Our evaluations show a 10-fold increase in bug fix efficiency. That concludes today's presentation. We hope all developers can leverage Qoder to unlock greater productivity. Thank you very much. Please stay tuned for our upcoming roundtable discussion.
Okay, hello everyone. Good morning, good evening from wherever you are from across the world. Welcome to Qoder's global full stack product launch event, where we witness another significant milestone in the advancement of AI coding. My name is Jason Lin. I'm based out of sunny Singapore, and I'm super excited to be hosting the event today. Now, since Qoder's official release in August, in just a few short months ago, we have seen rapid user growth, more than 500,000 new users in just 2 months. And during this period, Qoder has rolled out multiple major product features, updates, and iterations, shaping the 3 core products: AI IDE, the CLI, and the JetBrains integrations. And we will be talking about them more today. And to help you to gain a comprehensive understanding from the perspectives of product, technology, and real-world user, we are also excited to welcome Qoder's core team, including the engineering team, product team, as well as some guest developers for an immersive roundtable discussion today. And together, they will unpack how Qoder is transforming the way we code. And before we begin, let us meet our guests for today. Can I invite our guests to give a quick introduction of themselves? Firstly, we have Eric Zhang, Head of Product at Qoder.
Hello, everyone. This is Eric. I'm Product Manager of Qoder.
Yeah, hello, I'm Jackie from Qoder team. I'm an engineer.
And we have Dr. Ferdin on the line as well.
Hi, I'm Ferdin. I'm a training advisor with Alibaba Cloud Academy, based in Singapore.
I am Saran. I'm also in Singapore. I'm the founder of Acumen.ai. and we build dynamic domain-agnostic assessments for recruiting and education.
Thank you so much for the intros, and based on the profiles of our guests today, I trust that we will have a productive discussion today representing the different user groups in the AI coding space. Once again, a very, very warm welcome. And let me kick off our roundtable by first setting the stage. While many of us have actually heard about or even experimented with AI coding tools, we hear that full adoption remains a challenge for many today. For example, integrating AI fully enough to replace the entire parts of your development workflow is still rare. That's why today we are excited to hear directly from two real-world users who have used AI coding in their daily practice, their daily work, and to share candidly about the pain points they faced. Shall I first invite Dr. Ferdin to share more about how you have been using AI coding in your workflow generally and some pain points you might have faced?
Yeah, definitely. So I have been using this to show how the people can use these kind of IDEs to create AI applications or anything that they need to push into the cloud. So we have been finding this coder to be like a remarkable one, and it is kind of good enough. Like when you compare with all the market equivalents, this is also like it says like no less than any product. When it comes to the ease of use and also to the cost affordability and also the features which are written, and then the technology which is underlying and how it is empowering the coding. So we have our Quen Coder functionality which is giving like a much better results in the benchmark. So this is also having like a very good feedback when it comes to the generation of the source code. That is where I started finding this product is quite remarkable when it comes to the coding co-pilot or like a AI assistant.
And Dr. Ferdin, in your experience, are there any specific pain points that you have been facing so far in the entire experimentation phase?
Okay, so in generally, if you take like there are certain parameters which you need to think about is like the compliance issue. Like the developers, when I have like this kind of technologies shown to the developer communities, they the first and foremost thing they ask is about the regulations and the compliance. How safe is their code and how they can have that rectified with the compliance issues. And then the main thing is like we have it dealt with a separate account, and it is not possible to have any kind of cross-border data sharing, and it is having like a high level of regulatory issues addressed, and it is pretty safe. So in that case, we are facing some kind of questions, but it is quite good enough to deal with this product's features. So the another thing what I see is like the use of the agents and how it can have like multiple aspects, like how you can bring like multiple agents. But here this particular product is quite good enough, like you can have create like multiple agents and you can make like multiple tasks at the same time. So that is something which I see as a pain point when it comes to the AI coding, but this one is having the features to rectify it.
Got it. Sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Ferdin, for sharing. And now I'd like to ask Sarah from Acumen.ai. So, as a real-world enterprise user, how have you been using AI coding and talking to clients? What are some of the pain points that you hear?
Okay, so just giving a little background, I only picked up coding in my mid-30s, and it was pre-LLM revolution, so I did have a little bit of experience as a data scientist writing some custom models in deep learning for different freelance use cases. And I also had a small team at a startup, which we had an agentic pipeline for gifting. But even in there, I was doing most of the high-level prototyping and using the pre-agentic IDE environments for maybe getting some prototypes in the notebook environment and then passing it on to machine learning engineers to actually doing their productionalization. And it's only now that I've moved into my own startup that I try to do everything end to end. I would not call myself a software engineer, but I do think with these tools, you can ask the right questions, learn enough, put enough scaffolding in place that you can actually get to something end to end. So I've never written a line of front end code before. I was able to do it now for my startup. But you need to go slow and you need to understand things. And I think the biggest pain point is you don't know what you don't know, right? So I think that's the hardest part. So you have to ask right questions and actually learn with the AI. I think sometimes it's very easy to get excited and to go way too fast, but I think it's important to actually build some structure around your learning with working with coding agents.
Cool, thank you, Doctor. We have heard all these user feedback, including those shared by Ferdin and Saren on your challenges, including effectiveness, speed, cost, compliance, or safety. And we heard earlier from the day from our founder of Coder, Ding Yu, that we now offer 3 product forms, AI IDE, CLI, and JetBrains plugins. So maybe the next question I'll pose it to Eric, who is head of product at Coder. So Eric, when the Coder team is thinking about developing products, features, updates, and how do we balance to address these user challenges and user feedback at scale?
Thank you, Jason. So good question. Actually, the evolution of AI coding experienced 3 stages, from the code completion, chat iteration for the multi-file editing, and right now in the agentic coding stage, we can delegate the task to our agent. From the 0 to 1, as Sarah mentioned, the problem is we don't know the real problem. So we can ask AI to help us to understand our real problem and then write down the specification and delegate the specification. Let the AI agent help us from the 0 to 1. And for the iteration chat, for the multi-file editing, so is most focused on the from 0 to 10. So we can, based on our iteration chat, to add our functionalities one by one. So we can still use the code completion or NES, next edit suggestions, help us to polish our source code, let our source code more maintainable, and let our source code clean. We released our code IDE in August. So our code is designed for our real software development. It including some features, for example, RepoWiki is for our code base understanding and for our code base visibility. It can help us to understand our legacy source code clearly. And the second feature is for the chat agent, iterative coding through conversation. So we can help us to programming incrementally one by one. And the request mode is for the task delegation, most in such a agentic coding stage, so the agent can handle longer tasks. So we can write down some specification and delegate our task to agent. But we also received a lot of feedback from community, especially for the backend programmer. So because they are huge JetBrains IDE users, their needs are not fulfilled. And also some teams that required some more agent for the workflow augment. So we released our JetBrains IDE plugins these days. So that can help us, for example, Java programmer use our code in the JetBrains IDE. And also we released the CLI. So the command line CLI also could be integrated into a lot of scenarios. For example, the CLI can be integrated different IDEs because ACP, right? So we can integrate with the Vim and Emacs as well. And also CLI could be integrated into team workflow so that can augment the team's development workflow. So that is why we released the JetBrains IDE and the command line in these days. And also further ask a question, because the challenge for the agentic coding, especially for our vendor, so there is a cost, quality, and the performance. Is a yellow triangle, right? We have to carefully to balance the quality and the performance and the cost. Actually, so in Coder, so we use the SOTA model around the world. We trained our old model for some specific tasks so that we can keep provide the high quality for our users. And for the performance, so we deployed a lot of models around the world in different regions so that can keep the speed for our users. Especially these days, we take a lot of effort for the context engineering, so that we would like to let the AI agent can understand the whole code base and understand our developers' development environment clearly, so that we can balance the quality and the performance cost. And that is what we would like to share our JetBrains IDE and command line tools.
Thank you, Eric. And I think this shows the strategy, the approach on how we create the different product updates when we think about user feedback, user requests, and user demands for Qoder. And thank you so much. Next, I'd like to invite Jackie as well. So Jackie has been a core developer engineer for over 20 years, lots of experience. Jackie, any thoughts on how JetBrains can actually help our coders to code better, faster?
Yes, we got a lot of feedback from the backend engineering. They just said, okay, we want code to support Java, Kotlin, Rust, Python. So, okay, because most of the developers choose JetBrains IDE. You don't need to change your IDE, or you just use your IDE, no matter you are using just the IDEA, PyCharm, or WebStorm. So you can use Qoder AI in your favorite IDE. So that's it.
Awesome, and I know some of our users are also looking to see JetBrains in action, like demo. Would you have any demo to share for JetBrains?
Yes, I have some demo. Okay, today I'm excited to demonstrate the code JetBrains Plugin and how it accelerates project development with intelligence context-aware code generation. So let's start with the project. The magic is from Agents Markdown. So okay, this project I have configured with Tech Stack, Java 21, Spring Boot 3.5, JUnit, SOG. And for the project structure, I have the best package, REST API. And for the database, I choose MySQL. Yes, for the API conversion, build and run. And I have some Java guidelines. So okay, because this project is for Java 21, so I just say, please choose Java Recorder instead of Java Bean for DTO and event processing. So now let's see this action for the action block. So because I have the account module already, so now I will create a block feature for account. So let's see this in action. Okay, I have the prompts already here. So I just open code and input prompt. So let's click. So now we can see the code will make the plan for this task. So okay, from the hint, we can see, okay, the code will adopt flyway, block entity model, repository service. During code generation, let's check the code will create the following file. So okay, now we just accept the file creation. Let's check the file created by the code. So the first file we can see, okay, the code just adopt the flyway style. And you can see the first one is V1, the second is V2. So it's flyway style. Okay, we can check the database schema. So now the code create a table block for us. So now we just check the block entity. So okay, the annotation from GPA. Let's check the block repository. So okay, it's extend CIUD repository. Let me check the controller. So we just follow the controller API style. So API/v1 bloggers. So let me check the DB unit, because for this file, okay, the code will just adopt the account dataset style and create all the dataset for the blog. So we can use the dataset XML dataset for the unit testing. So for the blog unit testing, we can see, okay, blog repository tester just extends project best test, because we just instruct code to use project best test in Agent Markdown. So last I just show another demo is about the Spring, we call the Spring events. So okay, for the domain-driven design, we have the event-driven style. So now we just have another demo is about event creation. After account creation, for example, we want to send a welcome email to the account. So now I want to just create an event processor to process such as email sending or SMS sending. So now we have a prompt like this. So now I will ask a code to generate event-driven hook of the account creation. So now you can use this prompt. So we just listen to the account creation event and handle it. So now we just give some challenge for the code. How about async? Okay, let's check. So now we ask code to generate event and processor to process account creation. So now finally we will get a Spring event processor. I will ask a code to create event-driven hook of the account creation. So now we have the prompt here. So please create the event trigger of the blah, blah, blah. So now we just give some challenge for the code. So now we just give a short prompt. So listen to account creation event and handle it. Yes, I want.
Make it complicated.
Yeah, make it complicated. The event should be in async mode. So I just copy the prompt and pass here. So now we can see, okay, the code will just read account service equal file. So let's accept it. Okay, good. Event listener, edit the file, account service. Okay, let me check the account service. So, okay, the code just give us some code. So, okay, for this case, we just get the application event publisher. Because why? The Spring Boot uses event publisher to fire the events. The code add some code of the account creation. We just click this listener icon. So, okay, we can get the listener processor. Okay, here, we got async annotation. Let's get another table. Spring Boot event processor. So, okay, I will ask a code to generate event-driven hook for account creation. So let's check the prompt. So, okay, for the normal case, you can use this one. So, but we want to give code some challenge.
Okay.
So we just say listen to account create event and handle it. So for most of the case, we want to use event model. So now here we just add the asynchronize. Okay, just copy and open your code. We will click at new task, right?
Yeah, this is a new session.
Okay, we just click. So we will check. Okay, the code will read all the file. Okay, read the account service. Read the main application. Read the account Java.
It is trying to understand your whole project.
Yeah, so now let's accept it. Okay, the new file. Okay, good. So, okay, it's all done. So let's check the file. Okay, for the account service equal, so we can see, okay, the code add event publisher bin for this case because we want to fire some events. After account creation, so okay, the event publisher will publish the event. So we can click icon to check the processor class. So we can find, okay, the code create the event listener. For the event handler, we can see annotation at sync. So because we just want a sync model.
Sync event, yeah.
Yeah, so okay. But one important thing is everybody, or just every Java developer, we should add annotation at async. So now we just check this file. The code is smart. For every application, if you want to enable async, you should add enable async annotation. Just make everything work well. So okay, so
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, it's smarter than me because I'm a C, C++ programmer. I don't know this Java annotation.
Yeah. A question here. For most of the developer, we know async model. Here, we, for example, email sending or SMS sending. So, but almost we just forgot a very important annotation, just this one, enable async. If you just forgot to add this annotation, and the Spring Boot cannot work well.
Yeah.
So, okay, the code serve us.
Yeah, because our agent previous step will try to use the enhanced engineering to understand your whole project.
Yes.
And then to decide to implement the whole features.
Yeah, for this case, we just think the code is smart. We don't need complicated prompt. We just write a short one. Yeah, just right here. So
Yes.
I think this one just okay, the code is smart enough for this case.
Yeah, because this is based on the enhanced engineering context. Because some context will automatically to be attached to the agent, and the agent will to understand your whole code repository clearly. Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
So okay, thanks for joining Spring Boot demonstration. So okay.
Okay, thank you, Jackie, for the demonstration. So I'm not sure when, Ferdin, have you seen this before? But any initial thoughts or any initial feedback looking at this demo of the plugin?
It is pretty looking quite cool because he got like a new plugin which is operable with the other IDEs. So in that case, it will help the user to go with the existing projects. They don't need to do any kind of migration with the environments. So this is pretty cool to the developer community in my view.
I mean, personally, I have not used JetBrains, but of course, I think for the customer side, being able to have interoperability between tools is always extremely helpful. And yeah, as long as we can interconnect with the ecosystem, I think it's a win for Coder.
Nice, and I think for me even it's always a privilege to see the actual people, the product, the engineers who build the product to demonstrate the product and tell us what's the best way to use it. So maybe a question back to the Coder team. What are the tips and tricks for developers out there who want to use Coder? Are there any efficient ways that can help them to make their workflow faster, more efficient?
Actually, so our Coder is built for real software development. So we will face to handle the legacy source code. For example, Jackie hand over the legacy source code to me. So I have to, based on the legacy source code for the programming. So in our code IDE, we have the repo wiki features.
Yes, repo wiki.
So the repo wiki features can let a developer to understand the whole legacy source code before the developer start his work. So he can read the repo wiki first. So this is one ticket. So maybe you handle legacy source code, you can do that. And another tips, because we will handle a lot of real software, we should let the agent to understand the development environment and the whole code base. Also, we will trying to understand other related documentations. So we can use the MCPs to integrate some MCP servers. The MCP server can give some knowledge to the agent, and the MCP server can also provide some CI or testing tools. So the agent can integrate some the software development workflow tools into our system. So that can help us to customize our old workflow with the agent. So that is the second. The third one is maybe people trying to understand how to talk with our agent. Because you have to image the agent like a person, so you can describe your intention clearly to the agent. For example, you can image some roles. For example, you are quite a senior Java developer, so you please help me to write down some async event implementations, so agent will follow your rules. And also we can define some rules. For example, some rules is for your personal use. So you can define your personal rules. For the team, so you can define the team rules for your whole teams. So that you can define your personal old or your team old agent.
So I think, okay, first you should write a good agent's markdown. So because you can guide the code to do something correctly. So the second, I think you should adopt some architecture. For example, in my case, I just use the domain-driven design because for the AI, it's hard to process a big file. For example, tens of thousands lines of the file.
Yes.
So it's just make the AI confused. So the third, we can just ask the right question. But for the code, from the demo, you can ask the short question. It's okay for the code to understand because we have the code-based graph. So that's okay.
Thank you, Jackie and Eric, for sharing your nuggets of wisdom. I'm not sure about you, but I'm taking lots of notes. These are the tips and tricks on how to use Coder to maximize its potential. Thank you so much. And up next, we also love to hear more from our Coder users. I know they have prepared a short demo. Maybe you can start with Saran. Would you like to give us a quick demo of how I've been using Coder, what experience, takeaways that you've gained as well?
So this is the core product for my startup, Acumen.ai. It's basically an assessment where you have to find errors on the screen of a standard workflow. And this is being used for recruiting and education, and in this particular use case, in recruiting for AI developers. So this is a standard workflow, and there's some embedded errors in here. And you have to click on the screen to find out where they are. For example, here's an example. You see, this is one of my attempts, and I have up until 3 to find, in this particular case, 1 error. And it's in non-selectable text, so you can't copy and paste it. And it's embedded in an image to basically add some anti-cheating features down the road. So let's give our 3 attempts for this problem. And we see that we've got it right on this one. But this was actually a first version, and to try and showcase how complicated this type of problem is, even for state-of-the-art AI models, even with reasoning and planning. Not to get too technical, but here we see the argsort. The reason for that is it's supposed to be ascending, and you're supposed to get the top elements. So it assumes there's an error, but actually the indexing from minus top k here versus top k means it's actually reverse and fix its own error. So this is actually a wrong question for my assessment. And so we need to provide more agentic scaffolding to make sure that the AI understands how to generate a good question with intentional errors. And initially this was going to be static, just focusing on AI and data science because that's my background. But there actually are other use cases in our new agentic pipeline. And here's a more fun one about making laksa, because we're in Singapore. And you can pick some topic and it'll get a question on that. Or here's a different one regarding finite group theory, which was the field of mathematics I studied quite some time ago. Now let me share something inside the Qoder terminal in particular. This is a MCP integration. For those errors, I'm trying to build a taxonomy of errors delivered through MCP so that when you ask certain prompts, you can actually get a response back from the MCP on the likelihood that the AI will make an error. And this is based on standard benchmark data aggregated in some novel way to be able to give you back a response. So this is a very, very complicated unsolved math problem, and it basically says it's very unlikely to solve. And then here's another example. How many balloons are there in total at any one time in Spain? And it also gives some context here that you should break it down into steps here. So the idea of this is this will help potentially through MCP, help agentic coders to know when they have a very, very difficult initial prompt to break it down to tasks, and also teaches prompt engineering to those in a dynamic way where they get instant feedback instead of taking a course and then trying to apply all those principles. And the idea is the assessment and this taxonomy will help support each other in some co-evolution way.
So thanks, Saran, on your demo on how you have been using Qoder. And this is also making me hungry seeing your laksa example. So by the way, laksa is a local delicacy in Singapore. So Saran, maybe a quick question. Since you have used Qoder and other AI coding tools as well, how is your experience like? And has it resolved your challenges such as efficiency, cost, or anything to share with us?
So my initial experience with Qoder, I was very impressed by the tool. It suggested, for example, that there was a very, very long file written by another agentic IDE that it should be broken up for better modularization. So that definitely helped in debugging in the future and just understanding the structure of the file better. In addition to that, I also saw that the context window fills up very, very quickly in Qoder chats, which is generally a good thing because it shows that how much is being fed in terms of the context to be able to answer your questions. And I think because of that, it's much more performant.
Cool, awesome. Thanks again for sharing, Sarah. That was a very interesting showcase of how you have been using Qoder. Up next, I'd like to invite Ferdin. Ferdin, would you like to show a quick demo of how you have been using Qoder and your experience as well?
Yeah, sure. So I have like a couple of examples. So this is not like an enterprise solution scenario, but I have it like in the research scenario. Like when you take it in the case of the faculty members in the university or their PhD or master students, or like they have like some kind of student projects. This is something quite like a quite exciting one, like because they have a kind of a scenario where they get like a problem statement which is defined, and they have to get the people to learn the technology faster. So this is bridging that gap. So I have like 2 examples. We have this for the computer vision where we use the random CIFAR10 data set with like certain parameters. I just wrote it like that. I didn't write even a single line of code which is given over here. Everything is communicated. Like for example, I wanted to decrease the number of epochs. By the beginning it mentioned like it uses like 100 epoch. So I just wanted to change it to 2. It will affect everything in the agent system itself. Then to load everything, and then to run the code, and it can provide everything. Like for example, here we have this VGG 16. So instead I need to have like a VGG 19. I just choose the particular file over here, and then ask the agent to change VGG 16 to VGG 19 architecture. So I just mentioned like with the natural language processing based query, so it will automatically make the changes. So that's like pretty much impressive in this particular case. And then for the validation, and most importantly to show like what kind of thing is going on for the epoch, and then to show with the results summary, everything is like pretty much good enough in this particular case. And the next case I would like to show is the time series forecasting. This is like something which is used by like many people, whether it is in the fintech industry or like for like any kind of people who are using the time series data. So this one also I used it. So here to extract the data from external sources, and in case if I want to run this code, certain libraries which you may see here, like for example, you have this Keras, and then we have some certain other like the sequential. Certain things will work with a particular version of TensorFlow, and certain things will work with another library. So it uses a command line feature which will automatically do perfect enough to it will upgrade and downgrade that particular version of the TensorFlow, and it will accommodate all the libraries. This is pretty much like if you do it manually, it will give a lot of issues. But when I used it with this one, it was perfect enough. So that's something which I found it like to interoperate with the libraries, and also like in case if I have like a particular project members, they are new to the project, and they need to learn quickly about what exactly the project is about, where they can get the information. Everything is perfectly modified. Now I shown about like this particular interface, like it shows like all the things like graph and everything plotted perfect enough. And I didn't mention anything, like in case I just mentioned like a particular two stack LSTM, and it was perfect enough. And then it shows like the training and then the visualization. I even didn't mention like I want to have this particular graph, but it provided. And later I gave a change, like I want to have it like dynamic for each epoch. I want this to be like automatically updated. So it did like for each and even every epoch it did it. And then for the prediction also, like it shows like how it goes with the actual prices and the prediction prices. So this is pretty much impressive, and the numbers may not be looking so accurate, but it shows the trend on how that stock value was going to be. This is something it was predicting, like it is going to reduce the price of the stock in the recent times, like it was reducing, right? So it was pretty much showing like the trend is going downward. It is quite good enough to accept. And now coming back to the computer vision thing which I made here. Here I wanted to change the VGG 16 to VGG 19. I made the statement. It has done all the changes. Now I give like this to accept. So after it is accepted, and then when I see over here in the model, it will show like how it has changed. Like now this is not VGG 16 anymore. It has changed to the VGG 19 parameter. So you can see like the modified code. So this is pretty much on how you can work on like the minute versions. And here we have the option of having the agent as well as the ask. Like for example, in the stock prediction, I have a particular library which is crucial, that is the Y Finance, which can bring in the data from the Yahoo Finance portal. So this one I intentionally deleted the library by uninstalling it. But later, just during the session today, I tried to give one particular query, like I want to check what are all the statements, the libraries which are available in the notebook. It will automatically check every library, and it shows like it wants to run in the terminal, and once you give the consent, it shows like the Y Finance library is not available. So then it shows like it will update the requirements to include that since it is missing, and then after that it does all the things. You don't need to do any command line statements to add the libraries and so on. It was able to show everything installed, and now everything is fixed. So that's pretty much on how you can manage the dependencies and the binaries. So this is pretty much needed when it goes for the enterprise applications as well as for like managing the microservices or like the Kubernetes kind of architectures when we are dealing with. So this is pretty much promising in that case. So that's all about my demo on these two cases.
Thank you, Dr. Ferdin, for sharing. I think I need the stock prediction tool from you to better manage my finances. Yeah, very interesting. But I wanted to get your feedback as well, because you have been an avid developer for many years, and you have been using several AI coding tools as well. So based on your experience using Coder, what are the key differences, or what's your experience like in terms of efficiency or other things that you actually want to share?
Especially the one which I mentioned during the demo is the libraries and the dependencies. This is pretty much difficult when it comes to, like, I won't say like totally difficult, but it is like kind of you have to do a lot of other things to support that particular action. But here it is like looks like totally automated, and you don't need to decide what libraries you need. Like, it will give like a suggestion. Later, if you want, you can change according to your requirement. So that's pretty much summarizes the need for Coder.
Thank you, Dr. Ferdin. And I think the next thing is, when we think about what's next in terms of the future plans or product directions, maybe just a question back again to our users, Ferdin and Saran. Are there any wish lists that you have, or based on your usage of Coder, any features that you want to see coming up next?
I have not the strongest software engineering background. One thing I'd like to see is more integrations with cloud. Maybe IAC, like, I'm not a cloud architect, and fiddling around on like the different cloud service providers is particularly one of the most frustrating things in general. So maybe that's through MCPs, then if you can optimize that part, I think that would be a huge time savings. I think the other thing that is quite challenging, and I'm not sure if they have a good answer for this, or it'll be something that's more research focused down the road, is as everyone keeps building more and more with AI tools and not just traditional software, and integrates AI into their apps or software, I think getting a good grasp on evals inside the IDE would be very helpful in some way. If there's some understanding of what happens in AI evaluations and providing some guidance for those people who really may not have any type of data science or statistics or AI background, I think that would be a big help. Because we all know that AI can break out of distribution quite easily.
My wish list, I bring it from like a couple of things, from using Ligma and then using the Coder. I want to see like a testing interface. Like, for example, we develop this code using this agent or editing, whatever it is, and then I try to generate the unit test cases. It will generate it, and I have even written a code on like a prompt on how to execute all these unit test cases. It generates the code and it will test everything, and it provides a report. But rather than having to write that particular prompt test, because everything we develop we need to test, right? So I think this is something which I feel is not available in any market equivalence also. If we provide an option for testing, that will be much better. And also for the IT solutions companies, they will have like a thing to automate certain things with the testing. Nowadays, they are going a lot with the automation of the support systems as well as the testing. So if we provide this kind of things with the AI footprint, it will be very useful for the IT developers, and it will help them to reduce a lot of cost involved. That's something which I recommend.
Thanks, Ferdin. So Eric and Jackie from Coder, you have heard from the users on the feedback that they have, as well as some of the features or wish list that they wish to see. So at this point, I want to also pose a question back to the Coder team, Eric and Jackie. Any product updates or future roadmap that you can reveal for now? Any sneak peeks or things that we can look forward to?
Actually, so good question from Ferdy and Saran. So your wish list is a common wish list from our users. So the first is about the more integrated with the cloud. So we consider how to write the source code, and then later so we will integrate some deploy tools. We will consider to ship the source code into the cloud. For example, you can deploy some front-end software to the cloud, and also we will consider to integrate such like the Vercel cloud, and so that you can ship your software to the cloud. And for the verification from Ferdy, so testing is one verification ways. Actually, so in the agentic coding area, so we will consider two parts. Human in loop. First part is for the your describe your intention. For example, you have to describe your requirement precise. And the second part is very important is for the verification and how to check in the result is as you expect. So right now, so we will integrate some checking tools, for example, static analysis tools into our verification phase. And also we'll implement some unit testing sub-agent to help us to write down the unit testing case for our generated source code. But for other tools, for example, exploring testing, function testing, we intend to integrate some MCP server to help us to complete the workflow for us. And another suggestions from Sarah. So yes, so we also will give some best practice for our users. Maybe some best practice can be built in our product. For example, some rules. So we can define some rules example for our users so that people can understand which rules can be used for different scenarios. And we can also provide more built-in MCP tools for our users so that people can easy to use the some tools later. So
for the JetBrains plugin, have a deep integration with JetBrains ecosystem. For example, for the database, because that's the number one priority for the backend developer. So we will do some just the research for the Spring Boot. Most Java developer, okay, they just said, okay, could you make Spring Boot just friendly with the code? We inspect the Spring Beans and maybe extract the information. Mm-hmm. So, and for agents markdown, so we will just maybe we should add some features to generate agents markdown automatically.
Yes.
Because
yeah. So later, so we will depend on our ecosystem to fulfill our capabilities. For example, the different program languages, so we will give more LSP support, and we will integrate most of software development tools for example, the database, and for example, the verification tools. We also released our bug finding tools for the code review. It will be integrated with our code repository, different code repository as well. Okay.
So it seems like the Coder team is already working on some of these user feedback in its next stage of the product iterations. So Saran and Ferdin, hopefully you are happy with that some of these are already coming your way. And also to our guests and audience online, stay tuned for more future feature updates coming your way as well. So we had lots of great discussions today, starting from the user pain points, as well as hearing from our Coder team on the philosophy, strategy, and thinking behind building products such as AI, IDE, CLI, and JetBrains. I think it's whether you are an independent developer or you are a solutions architect building architecture, complex engineering in a large enterprise. Coder is not just a coding tool, but a great partner for you in whichever workflow that you are in. And one thing that we have heard for sure is there are big plans coming for developers coming your way very, very soon. Major product upgrades, potential Coder for enterprise, or even further price reduction. And I can't wait for the next big release from Coder. So once again, a very big thank you to our roundtable guests for today. And for all of you watching, thank you for joining us today as well. If you would like to share your experience using Coder, we welcome you to share your reviews, your feedback about Coder on YouTube and X. And the Coder team will also be giving out credits for our fans. Don't forget to add the hashtag Coder and the team might just be in touch with you. Once again, my name is Jason Lin. It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again very soon. Till next time, goodbye.